and credit cards and debt.
I don't want. I can put it in some for another country because I don't come in another
But
country.
you can't compare. So you guys, whether you're Team
Yeah.
Mari,
Team Joel.
yeah! Welcome to another episode of Sin Censura. Yo soy Mari.
Y yo soy Joel.
And you're probably wondering why we have these cowboy hats on.
I love
and
it.
that is because we're going to be talking about
American Dream.
the American dream, mi gente. But before we get into it, some housekeeping stuff. As always, remember the show Sin Censura es completamente bilingüe. It's 100% bilingual. So right down here somewhere here, I'm looking at myself in the camera, over here. You guys can put the subtitles on. Puedes poner los subtítulos aquí, en
Sí.
algún lado aquí.
No dejes de hacerlo.
Yeah, and please subscribe to our channel. Like,
Subscribe.
it's like right there. The button's right here. Subscribe to it, please.
Oh my God.
So let's get into it. I think I'm gonna take my
I'm
hat
gonna
off
take my hat off
because this
we need it.
doesn't. Yeah, this doesn't fit my
I love my
head.
hat.
I like this hat too. It's kind of cool. The American dream. What a complicated
God.
topic.
American
Where do
Dream.
we even start? Joel, what do you think is the American dream?
Can I show you what is my American Dream? I want to show you a video.
Okay.
I want to show you what is my American Dream.
Okay, go for it.
This
Imagine
is
going inside a store for the first time in your life that didn't have empty shelves. Well, this is Joel. He's 36 years old, and he's about to do it right now.
Mala pinga. ¿Qué pinga es esto?
Cojones, parece una pelota.
Ya.
$8. Wow. 8 pesos. Ando en mi niña que no puedo enseñárselo. Que no puedo enseñarle esto. Porque no hay cuaja. El latino, toma ahí, toma. Loco por comprar toda la carne que hay aquí. Una en una.
I love it.
No he visto tanta carne juntos. Todo eso no quiere un niño. Y más un niño cubano que no tiene eso. Así que, no sé, me duele.
Joey, ¿cómo te sientes? I never get tired of seeing that video because it was a very emotional day. There's a lot of things that a lot of people didn't see behind the cameras, but
That's my American Dream.
that's your American dream.
Yeah, coming to the market, see all these. That's my American Dream. Coming to the market and see
seeing all-
many of that stuff, seeing food, type of food, different food, huge food. You know, for that onion for me, what the hell is
And
that?
having it available all the time, right?
Oh yeah, and many another thing is American Dream for me. Many, maybe 1,000 more.
So when you were in Cuba, is that everything that you expected, or
No, never. So I told you, we in Cuba only dream. That's it. In Cuba, you go to the bed, dream how is the life in the capitalist country, or American dream, how is the American dream, and all we look in the movie, say, hey, this is happened. Maybe this is happened. Maybe this is
so
possible.
when you
know?
came here, did you think you were in the movies, or
Oh, yeah.
is it better than what you thought, or was it?
No, better. I saw in the movie, better.
Really?
100% more better.
Wow.
That's really nice.
Well, you know, I think the American dream for an immigrant like you is very much different than somebody like me who grew up here, or people who were born here. I think for me, the American dream, I'm in the middle of this conversation. I feel like I'm bipolar. About the American dream because in one hand, I saw my family that came with nothing. They had nothing. And now they have made a life for themselves. And then I see the other side of that where, you know, a lot of Americans are struggling and a lot of Americans really, you know, they go month by month and they live on a paycheck. And for us growing up here, I think the American dream was always like to buy a car, to have
Oh,
the
yeah.
house with the white picket fence.
The kid in the garden.
And that dream seems to be fading for a lot of people.
But it's possible. Do it.
It's possible, but it's just getting harder to do it. It's getting harder and harder and harder.
I want to show you the people what is the American dream for Marisa. What is she talking?
Okay,
I want
show
to
them the
sample
picture.
the video. What is happening with American dream? Just looking. This is the Marisa American dream.
32. $3,200 a month is how much the average American takes home, and watch how fast we spend it. You take our rent or mortgage, that's $1,100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You take our car payments, another $400. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our health insurance, another $400. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's not including the $200 for the student loans, the $200 for the gas, the $200 for the gas and electric, the $100 for your phone, the credit card, the internet's another $200, the car insurance, the water's another $200. Then all of a sudden we look at our account and we got a $200 balance.
Oh my God.
This is how 76% of Americans live.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, that's how most Americans live. And so this American dream of having the white picket fence, the dog, and the kid riding his bike, it's just I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just getting harder and harder and harder for people, especially people in my generation, in Gen Z, where your dollar just doesn't stretch as much. And I don't think like the older generations really realize that. So
But when you see your family, you say, I'm believing. You believe in the American dream, you and your experience.
I do, but at the same time, I have to recognize that my family, it was a different time. It was like the 80s or the 90s where getting a home was much more accessible than it is today. I mean, like a condo here in Phoenix is like $400,000 and people are getting paid like 50 grand a year. I mean, it's crazy.
I know.
And so, I mean, I just think I do believe in the American dream. I think your version of the American dream is a little bit more innocent and naive.
Different.
It's very naive. It's naive. It's innocent thing.
Yeah, but that's for the reason.
What's the reason?
It's we never travel. We never travel. We don't have internet. You know that. La internet en Cuba vino en 2016. You know that. No, estábamos ciegos. No sabíamos. Y entonces tú llamas inocencia a ese no saber. También es que nosotros tú sabes que no pagamos taxis, no pagamos.
You guys don't have bills.
No tenemos préstamos. Es que cuando tú lo ves de la perspectiva tuya, tú dices, ok, te entiendo. Pero cuando vienes de mi perspectiva, de mi visión de decir, mi sueño americano es llegar, triunfar, tener un trabajo. No es que tener un trabajo, es que el trabajo te da a ti lo que tú nunca pensaste tener. Ese es el sueño americano, de que si tú puedes sentarte a la mesa cada día y decir, tengo un desayuno.
But there's that's what he's saying in there. There's so many Americans that say, what the hell am I gonna, like, how am I gonna pay for groceries this month? There's so many of them. And I don't, you and I, it's not like we're swimming in money, but you and I have our struggles. We're struggling too. And
but we can travel, for example.
Yeah, but a lot of Americans can't do that.
Okay, I got it. I
think that you haven't been exposed to a lot of the harsher realities because, though we are struggling as a couple, we're not like in dire,
Yeah.
We don't have a family. We don't have a family of 4 to maintain. It's just us 2. So it's a lot easier. But when you have a family that has mortgage, a car payment, this, that, you have to pay for everything. You have children. You want to give them the best education possible. All of these things. and you live off, the salary. And what if what if they kick you out of the job? There's no job security here. So what if they go, okay, well, we don't have a job for you. So then what are you going to do? You're screwed.
Hey, in my old country, many of that is happening too.
Joel, they do not kick you out. There's no mortgage in Cuba. They don't
Okay.
kick you out of the house.
No. Wait,
And I'm not trying.
wait.
You know what? And I hate this
Wait,
conversation because
let
we
me-
always, what we do is what you do primarily always is trying to compare Cuba with the United
That's
States.
how I come. I don't want.
But-
I can put it in example another country because I don't come in another
But
country.
you can't compare. You cannot
Hey,
compare, Joel.
Yo sé, a ver, yo no estoy comparando, estoy viviendo mis dos vistas. Estoy buscando de mi perspectiva, mi visión de lo que yo viví con la visión que tú tienes
Right, but
y que estoy experimentando
but
ahora.
your vision is very innocent.
I know, yo no estoy diciendo que
I'm just
sea,
saying.
yo no estoy
It's just very innocent.
pero en Cuba sí a veces te pueden quitar la casa, por ejemplo, si
Yo-
si el gobierno quiere hacer un hotel, ¿qué ha pasado?
I mean, that does not happen to the majority. That does
Okay,
not happen to the majority of the people.
The majority of the people here is not poor people. The majority of the people here is
No, a
is
lot. No, he just said it. 76% of Americans struggle
he
every
said
month.
That's the middle people for me.
But don't you think that's a lot?
I know,
76
but that people maybe in 5 years think about and travel another country in vacation.
No, Joel.
How many American
No,
people?
Joel. I think you see things on TV. You see
No.
things.
I saw my friend. I saw many of my friends.
But eso todo es en credit cards and debt.
Okay,
But you think
hey.
that they're.
Hey, I don't see it.
But that's the problem in
Hey,
Miami.
I
Is
have-
that in
no, no,
Miami,
forget my
everyone in Miami is flashing off of what they have and don't have, and you don't realize that all of that is an invention. Todo eso es invento. Like,
That's your opinion. My opinion is different. I respect your opinion. My opinion is different. I know many people have the credit card, have to get asking to the bank, have the préstamo, pero lo que yo veo es que tienen una vida diferente a la que tenía del sueño americano. Es que la tienen el sueño americano.
but I think that's el sueño cubano, no el sueño americano. That's the Cuban dream.
Pero te lo da el
Because
americano.
now you have a house. But
Okay.
if you were American and you're here and you were born here, that doesn't invalidate that there's people struggling.
Yo no estoy. I understand your point. I'm really
It's-
100% with you.
It's like what we said in the other.
But for me, I see middle of the people. The middle of the people is the most people here in the United States have the situation in. It's possible they have a good breakfast, a good dinner, have a good lunch, and maybe at the end of the week he can go to a whatever part of whatever side here and take a beer with your kid, with your mom, with your family, and you can do it.
Yeah, but I
And
think
you have a car. I don't want to say you bought a Porsche.
But it's the same thing that we always go on, Yoel. It's like, how would you feel if somebody from Malawi was to invalidate you and say, well, in Cuba, it's not that bad because in Malawi, it's worse.
Hey,
I mean-
I know, babe. We talking in my experience. I don't know what happened in Malawi or in Bali or in Philippines. I don't know what happened
That's
there.
why I'm saying your
thought-
experience is innocent.
But I never see a lot in Malawi coming to the United States taking the American dream. The majority is Latin American people. In my
That's
country,
because it's
because
gosh.
close,
because it's easier to you can't cross from Malawi, Yoel.
Okay, but that's my experience. Tú no puedes poner Malawi porque no es lo que están viviendo. No es lo que están haciendo.
No, I'm saying that you cannot invalidate that people feel this way, that people feel like there's no more American dream because where you came from was worse. That's like
Worse.
saying somebody from Malawi tells Cuba, "Oh, you don't have it that bad in Cuba
I want to
because
show,
Malawi's worse."
I want to show the people how the people want to come here. Cómo la gente viene a perseguir el sueño americano. ¿Qué es lo que hacen? Y eso es algo que debería ser contado en esa perspectiva de que prefieren pagar un taxi en los Estados Unidos, tax bill, que estar en donde viven. Let me show you people how the people try coming here. And that's
Okay.
really hard. Look at this. It's a boat. How many there? It's crazy, you know?
No, I know people come here to make a better life for themselves.
And when you see that, they say, hey, the American dream is good. In some ways, good.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I agree with it to a certain point, but at the end of the day, I think it's very hard for those people when they get here, even Americans, to have, the white picket fence in the suburbs with the dog and the nice car. Like it's just hard. It's hard to do that.
But
And I think you haven't been exposed to that.
okay, I agree with you, but I'm talking about this, like these people. Do you know how difficult travel, or maybe 4-3 border coming to United States, take it the law, working hard because it's more hard, normal American people here, and the same way you need to pay taxes, bill, and in the end they have the American dream: food, water, car, the possibility of travel, the possibility to send money to the family. But all of that people, the mostly of the people need to work 2-3 times in a day, or maybe more, not only for pay taxes, not only for pay bills, send money to the family too. That's hard too. The American people don't do it that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say, hey, if these people do it more difficult or working more, that American dream, why the American people can do it?
Oh my gosh. It's because not all Latinos are living that dream, Joel.
I know, yo no estoy diciendo que todos lo viven, pero la mayoría que he visto lo hacen.
They live in a tiny apartment. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, it's just, you're like level 1 of the American dream. You're like looking at it through the lens of a Cuban who used to see it in the movies and now you live it. But you're not stage 2 of the American dream, where you've been here for a very long time. You work. You get overtaxed and underpaid, and you're not able to have real wealth or like real estate or own something. It's all your debt. You're like, it's always a cycle of debt, of credit cards and paying. Like it's not yours. You see a Mercedes-Benz, a Cuban has a Mercedes-Benz, but you don't understand that is un invento. That's them leasing it. That's not theirs. You know what I mean?
I know. I know what you mean.
I don't think you do.
I talking to America. I talking the most of the people that are coming here. He say, I wanted they only wanted that people is sit down at the table and eat it. That's only I see the people coming here, apart the money, the prosperity, the better future. But the mostly say, hey, I have food. I have a lot of food.
But that's not the American dream to Americans.
But that's the American dream for me, for my opinion.
Right, for you.
Whatever comes. Forget the Mercedes, Audi, whatever. That's, I know, I got it. I don't want to pay. I wanted my GT Shelby Mustang. I wanted that shit. That's my American dream. But I want to show you what happened to the American dream. It's possible. I want to show you the video. What for me, it was important because not only the people do it that, but that's important.
Okay, all right.
Let me show you that video.
Cuban. My dad is Mexican. I was born in Cuba. And my mom crossed the Mexican border with me when I was 7 years old. Had to leave my dad in Mexico. She had basically like the clothes on her back, and barely any money, did not speak English. I remember my family was like, "You're going to Disney World, you're going," because I had no idea what was happening.
I want to
What
go.
did you have in terms of belongings when you came into America?
I just had my little diary and I think probably like my Monsters Inc. doll. And that
was it?
Yeah.
To begin a whole new life.
Yeah.
How did your dad get into the country?
My dad literally crossed a river.
What, swam?
Yeah, swam.
It's
Like
true.
he literally
How-
crossed the border, and he actually.
Well, hang on. How long's that swim? How far did he swim to get to you?
I don't know.
When you see this, you see, hey, it's possible. They are coming 5 years. I don't know that. I feel it's Camila Cabello is born here.
No, Camila was born in Cuba.
I don't know that. I feel it's they are coming. They born here. The father coming and she born here.
No, she was. You know that she's born in Cuba.
No. She born in Cuba.
Camila
Okay, I don't know.
Cabello.
Sorry, I don't know. But that for me, this is American dream. Can you imagine
Yes, I
that
get
parent?
it.
That parent is her daughter of that famous.
I get it. I understand. I totally understand. You know, like I said before, I watched my parents and my entire family come from zero, and have what we have today, which is a house. It's not. It's no big thing, but it's a house and a car.
Yeah.
Like my dad and I, both of us, were able to buy myself a car when I was
Nice.
17.
Nah, what?
I know,
What?
but that was
What? Tell me again. 17?
yeah, but that was my dad working and me working too, and like I understand. Like if I was in Cuba, I would have
Not
car.
Cuba, America Latina, another country.
a car at 17. Come on, but and I know that the dream from a immigrant's eyes.
That's
Right,
right.
because this country has always been from rags to riches. Like you can do anything that you want, but I think over time, what has happened is that we have an abusive relationship with the governments. Well, that's a whole other topic, right?
Yeah. I do
But-
believe the United States people can change that.
Do I think it can change?
The tax, that change. The
You know what?
polity
I
and
don't-
love.
I don't see Gen Z has, if you guys go on TikTok and if you go on all of those platforms, I think Gen Z is very anti-capitalist. There's a very big
Mhm.
anti-capitalist movement, and they think that the American dream, you'll go on TikTok, and right before we did this podcast, we're looking at American dream TikToks to put on. Most people say that the American dream is a scam because you work from 9 to 5 and to provide, just so you can pay your bills and you have nothing left over, which is valid. But then I think, so what do you want to do? Not work? I mean, humans have always worked since they were hunters and gatherers. We have worked. I would prefer to live in 2023 where I don't literally have to catch a chicken, skin it, and eat it, and do that all over again, trying to find protein anywhere I
know.
can. I would prefer my
Go
life
to the market.
now
Yeah.
than living as a hunter-gatherer. Have you guys seen that? Have you seen the show Alone?
Oh, yeah.
So that they're totally alone and they have to find, and they get super skinny because they can't find animals where every single day. So they go days without eating, and that's how humans were, right? That's where humans were, and they had to build their own shelters, and they had to build. So I much rather live in 2023, absolutely. But what was I getting into? What was I saying?
She's so emotional. Like,
I was saying that I think for the change you mean is that that there's these kids that, they don't want to work. And it's like, but babe, you have to work. Where do you think the government, they think that everything should be handed to them And
That's
it's
right.
like, how do you think the government is going to hand that to
I
you if
know.
nobody works?
I know.
So
Let me tell you something. For me, I have two opinions for the future of the United States in this case to the American dream. One, that Gen Z people están haciendo que el American dream caiga.
yes, I think
That's
so too.
that's number one. The another opinion for me, the American people have the option for vote because los políticos dependen del pueblo y ustedes tienen esa libertad de cambiar el pensamiento del taxis, de que hay que facilitar o crear mecanismos para que ese taxi sea menos o sea más aliviado.
Well, then
Okay,
I
what
mean,
do you
that's a big controversy because everyone hates taxes, right?
That's part of American.
But
That's a part of the American dream.
everyone hates paying taxes, but you know, then you'll have like the Gen Z, this next generation that comes up that wants everything, but they don't even want to pay taxes. So it's like, I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, I just think that, you know, it's my own political opinion that the American dream is collapsing because of the overreach of government in our economic system,
Yeah.
how politicians work with corporations. That we, you know, it's not capitalism anymore. It's not a free market anymore because the politicians get involved in the economy and make regulations and laws that favor corporations instead of the market. And so I just think that it's becoming more impossible because of government, not because of the lack of government. And I don't know. I don't know where we're going to see, you know, the American dream in 20 years.
Yeah.
Because it's so expensive to buy a house now. I think the American dream,
Yeah.
you know, I saw it on the TV. They said American dream now is to rent a house, not to own a house. And it's always been the American dream to buy your own house.
That's for me. It's really wrong. That's for me for what is it? You know, because we have home in Cuba, but in that way you say, hey, but you have the home, you have the beautiful home. You know, this is for me. You know, my American dream. This is a mansion. You know that house is a mansion for me.
Yeah.
For example, put in the efficiency. For me, it's really cool.
Efficiency.
Yeah, efficiency.
Efficiency is a studio.
The studio is better to my house. It's really 100% because no te mojas, no tienes que construirla.
Okay.
That's a part of the American dream.
This is the conversation all over again.
Yeah, that's American dream.
But the American dream is to own a house, not to rent an efficiency.
Okay, but I told you.
Because now you're dependent on somebody else. It's not yours. You can't grow that wealth. It's somebody else is growing it on behalf of you.
The government need to do something in the future. Maybe I feel that the American people need to do something about the taxes of the bill. I feel, I don't know, in 20 years ago, how you say, it's so struggling, the situation, that something happened. The government doing something. Because they all now, I don't know what happened 30 years more. But you tell me your family said you can buy the house, you can buy the mortgage is 3,400, I don't know, 400. And that's you can handle it. The people in that time they can handle it. Say, this is American dream, we can do it. But now is the American government don't do nothing in the future. The population pressure the government. Hey, this situation is fucked up. We need to do something. We need a checking. We need to change this life because my daughter, we can buy the house for my daughter, we can buy a house. You know, it's difficult. The taxes is really expensive. I can buy the food. Maybe this happened today. Many things this happened today. In 20 years, it's more worse.
It's gonna be worse.
Yeah. And that's American dream down.
Yeah, I mean, that's why so many Americans are thinking that the American dream is a scam because of this. They already see it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think for you, this is the American dream is to have, you know, the opportunity to better your life.
That's right.
You have the opportunity to, you know, I remember you know, at least when you get here, you can dream of so many things you can do. You can open a business. You can
Thank you.
you can I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but there are a lot of obstacles. And I personally,
Yeah.
for me, I think the government makes those obstacles worse
That's true. And many
put-
country.
or
Oh, yeah,
put
many
those
country.
obstacles in front of people. But, you know, I mean, we're still a country that you have so many stories of immigrants who come here and make millions of dollars.
Ooh.
They become very successful. So many immigrants become so successful. You have those rags to riches story. You even have like even people who were born here and their families were able to give them things, you know, that leg up. They've, you know, exponentially increased their success. So yeah, do I think it still exists? Absolutely. But do I think it's getting harder and harder and harder? Yeah. And that I guess I'm both sides. I don't know.
I want it for the end of this, because this topic we need another
I don't know. You and I, we have talked off,
charter. I don't know.
we have talked off camera about this,
But-
and like we get very heated because
Oh my god, we need a heated people. We need a
As-
heated people.
as you guys can see, we get very
I
heated.
want to show you before end this video.
Okay.
I want to show you how this is important for me, American Dream.
Okay, let's
How
see.
they bring the people. That's
Okay,
it.
let's
Let me
see it.
show you this video. That's emotional video. That's a dreaming for many of the people coming to United States. Look at this. That's really cool, you know, and sad. And that's at the end of this moment, because that's for me is emotional. How the important is American Dream.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, the people believe in that and bring you up more.
Well, I mean, we've talked off camera, and this is a very heated
Yeah.
discussion that you and I have, just because I think the American dream for you, you
I wanted
come from it from a different perspective.
I wanted this American Dream in my country. I wanted this American Dream in my country. Not many in my country. Many of the Latin American country or poor country. I wanted that. You have something possible. You believe in that. You believe
Yeah.
in dream.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to tell us, you guys, whether you're Team
Yeah.
Mari
Team Joel,
or Team Nobody.
I win.
We do read your comments all the time, and you guys are very heated in the comments. We love it.
We love it.
But yeah, you're gonna have to tell us what you guys think of the American dream. What
Yeah.
is your version of the American dream? Do you think it exists? Do you think it's gonna fade? Then your general thoughts, right? And I think your idea is gonna change in a little bit after time.
I know. I don't see so. I don't see so. It's
think
hard, but I
so.
don't see so. Okay, guys.
All right, guys.
We love you.
We love you.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.
All we watching.
And subscribe.